see your big machine very much.
No, they don't, do they?
So it's nice. I'll just explain what we're doing. A couple of minutes ago, Jane said, "Do you have your velvet thing with your feet?" No. Did I move them? Yeah, it's kind of what my show's all about. Excellent. Let's use your machine today then, shall we? Because my feet are in another county, which is excellent and very useful, Jane. What is it?
Really helpful.
That one. So good morning to all of you. While Jane just quickly rethreads. I even threaded it for you.
I know.
Oh, no.
I asked Natasha nicely because we're a little bit running to the wire this morning. I was, please, can you thread your machine up?
It's all right.
It's fine.
For those of you that do not recognise this beast of a machine, it is the UX8 from Dukey, which pretty much makes you a cup of tea and asks you if you're okay whilst you're sewing, tells you when your bobbin runs out, all sorts of exciting stuff. Plus you can watch YouTube on it, which is just ridiculous.
And thread your needle just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
So today our sale continues of fabric. Some of you have dipped in. Yeah, so some of you have dipped into the fabric bundles. We have made some other 3 meters, metre and a half bundles.
Cool.
But it's still, you're getting a third
Fabulous
off.
deal.
So if you're going for the 3 metre lengths, then you're getting a metre for free. We can do more than that, can we? If you're going for the metre and a half bundles, you're getting a half metre free.
Fabulous.
Ba-ba!
Wonderful.
Please, please, please go and make the most of it, because when they are gone, they are gone.
Yes. And
Yes.
there's some gorgeous fabrics in there.
There are some really beautiful ones. Plus, have a look at all the bolt ends as well, because there are some exquisite bolt ends in there. I would go through them again. Watch yesterday's show if you want to go through them again, because, you know.
There was quite a lot.
And now I don't know which ones have sold.
Yeah.
Ugh. And I don't want to show you stuff you can't get. However, you can get this today. This is a bit of a revelation, Jane, because it's a storage caddy, very, very lightweight because it's mesh.
Yeah.
Now, I think they were intending this to be like a gentleman's shower caddy.
Right.
But I don't know any man that has that many toiletries
No.
at all. If
Then
I'm
uses
honest.
wash and go and that's it.
Exactly.
It's like,
Does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
He washes, he goes, done.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I looked at it, you see, and I went, well, hang on. As someone who has mucho stuff, actually, to be able to see what's in each of the pockets
yeah.
is actually incredibly useful, and this does not break the bank. How much would you pay for a caddy like this, Jane?
Gosh, I don't know. 20-ish?
Yeah,
Maybe more.
$6.99.
What? What? Amazing.
I didn't tell you that price.
No, you
Unlimited,
didn't.
obviously, on stock of it.
Yes.
But $6.99, and look at all of those. So Friday deals.
Nice big roomy pockets too, which
Well, that's
is
just it.
useful.
So I'm just thinking, when you get these on your Friday deals tomorrow,
I love that.
it fits in an end pocket, Jane.
Yes.
Super exciting. Oh, hang on. This isn't the... No, this isn't. This is the one with all my...
That's all your pens is. Oh. You snaffled stock. How very dare you? Anybody think it was your shop?
Oh,
no, you...
I keep catching myself. I love this jumper, but I keep catching myself with all my dangly bits. So in here, yeah, let's have a little look in here. Then we'll say hello to everyone, Jane, because in here I have managed to get my other, this other ironing
I
thing.
love that iron pad.
We are really getting a good bundle of good ironing based things here at the moment. So the other, so we've got, these go in your Friday deals.
That's my new love. I just adore it.
They're fab, aren't they? But this is equally great for getting into things. But also, if you've got a steam iron and you're doing suits or anything like that, you can have it the other side, which you'd struggle to with that.
Yes, you
Ruben,
would.
what's the matter?
Is
He
the-
doesn't
is the
know
gate-
where to be.
Is the gate shut?
Yeah.
I'll go and open the gate for you, dudes.
There's a little snout on the screen. Doobie-doo, what is the matter? Hey? He doesn't know whether to be with
There
me
you go. You can go
or with one of the
now.
children. He's very confused.
He doesn't know where to be.
No, no. It's a very confusing situation for a poor boy. Right. Oda coat. I've got my fat quarters because I've got to remember to take those. Rulers. Fits your rulers in. I've got various rotary cutters, scissors, many scissors. I've got all sorts going on in here. I've got 2 pairs, 3. I've got, oh, I always forget I've got these.
Really
For turning
handy.
things through.
Yeah, and stuffing.
So I'm going to put, and there is still plenty of space for more, Jane.
Yeah. They're really handy.
It's really handy.
If you're going to workshops and things, that's ideal, isn't
I had
it?
to import them, so they took a while to come,
Yeah.
but worth it when they are here, for sure.
Fabuloso.
Fabulous. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek for Monday's show.
Oh, we're just loving this.
Monday's show. We didn't know what to call it, but then we decided on, because everyone's like, oh, it's a chatelaine, but a chatelaine is normally hanging off your belt. But an etui, I'm not sure if I've said that right, is something to keep all your little bits and bobs in. So, oh, some more scissors I've snaffled, Jane. Yeah, you can
That's
keep all
really
your little bits and
handy. You
bobs.
get a reel of thread in there as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you could.
I love this for putting your needles and your pins in. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Get a pen in there. Fabulous.
You can put all sorts, or you can have it for like lip balms and a bit of makeup and a couple of brushes, whatever you want, and then it's there. Also, on Monday's show, we do have, this is Helen Law's fault. I'm going to name and shame. Or it helps if I actually open it on the proper
right
side.
side,
Yeah. So Helen Law spotted my scissors and went, I need some. Where did you get them from? So I then went on a search for where I got them from, but in doing so, found these, which are swan head scissors. I found all sorts of goodies, Jane. I love them.
They're all gorgeous.
They are all gorgeous, and this is just the tip of the whatever.
Tip of the scissors.
Tip of the scissors. It is the tip of the scissors, Jane. That's exactly what it is. Plus things to protect them if they are not all in your sewing kit. Which one have I got in here? Snaffled away. Oh, so these are the rainbow swan head ones. They're a bit gorgeous, aren't they?
They are lovely.
They're really very beautiful, and they will be on Monday's show. So that's Monday's show, but that's not today, is it, Jane? What are we doing today, Jane?
We're just going to talk a little bit about quilting, particularly when you've got a little cheats panel.
Nice. Have we got any of these actually left?
I hope so.
Now, this came from the Joy collection.
Yes, there's 5 half meters in a bundle, isn't there?
Yeah. And I made one of my reversible round handle bags.
You did.
In this, which sold in the sample sale.
And then a yard piece because it's...
Can we just show that? Because the plaid is just beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And then this is the panel.
So you've got the 3 different floral colourways, your 2 different plaids, and then this. Gorgeous.
Which has a selection of the flower basket and the Ohio Star already printed on, so you just need to quilt round the shapes basically.
Amazing.
Which is what I did there.
Yes.
I took individual ones on that one. This one I just cut 4. Now,
oh, and did them on point.
yeah, because they're on point on the panel.
Oh, nice.
So you can cut them round. Now what you have to do is you have to think about seam allowance and whether you want to keep it or whether you're not fussed about losing it. Because if you do trim it to want your seam allowance, you will lose some because they are together. But I mean, you could make a whole quilt with just this in the middle and bind it.
Stunning. You
Just
could sash it in,
and you
whatever.
could sash it in the fabrics and make it bigger.
But hang on, what have you done here?
I've done a little 9 patch. So I took strips of fabric, one colourway with the ivory and then the green colourway, and then I did the plaid with 2 strips either side, cut those into units, that one in the middle, 2 of these either side, put them together.
Amazing.
9
Which
patch.
we have done before. With
Yeah,
the
we've
twiddle
done.
in the middle.
Yeah, there's a little twiddle
Nice.
in the middle. We've done 9 patches several times, haven't we?
So this is Joy, which is Edyta Sitar's Christmas fabric.
Yeah, which doesn't
isn't Christmassy
scream
at all.
Christmas,
No.
but has that lovely red, green and cream colourway. You can see where I fussy cut my pieces from. So I took a half-yard piece just because I didn't want to take all the stock.
All the stuff in all the world, Jane. Really? Really,
So, yeah,
truly?
really, truly.
So, before we show you everything else that we've got on the show today, what sort of rulers would you use for this?
I'd use my, well, you can use your Stripology because obviously 2.5 inch wide strips.
Perfect.
Super duper. But I like my 24.5 by 6.5 inch ruler. That's my favourite.
That's your one.
And I do like the 6.5 by 12 because that's great for like little pieces.
Cool. We've got Josie with us, we've got Julia with us, we've got Jimmy with us and Joy. Good morning, Natasha and Jane, and good morning, everybody. Auntie Lizzie's here, Julia's here. We haven't had Jimmy with us for a little while, I feel.
No,
Nice to have you back. Nikki's here, good morning, lovelies. Working in a tourist trap isn't fun at this time of year. I have missed you all week. Yeah, do you know what broadband dips when you live in a...
Oh, does it? Does everybody get on
everybody
it?
wants
it. And I expect if it's rurally as well, it's not particularly brilliant to start with.
Do you know what? We couldn't work out when we were in Cornwall last week why the broadband was so slow.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, busy.
Yeah, Sue's just said they're out all over Cornwall.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, that's the one. Which means that there are certain times of the day you do not go anywhere near the A30.
Yes.
We choose when we travel very, very much.
I can imagine.
We travel through the night. That's it. We'll travel through the night tonight. Pro Plus is my friend. We'll travel through the night. We will reach there and we will not hit traffic. And it'll be a beautiful thing, Jane.
Yes.
Beautiful thing.
Get there, Joan. Time for breakfast.
Yes. Yes, yes.
How lovely.
We've got some half meat heavens to show as well.
Lovely.
Which go live. So I feel like we've kind of teased you a little bit. So we've shown you stuff for next week, Monday's show. We've shown you things that are going in the Friday deals. Oh, the penguins. The rest of the penguin fabric is in the Friday deals as well.
Oh, nice.
But I've only got 6 sets.
Oh,
that's it.
Limited stock.
Really, really limited. Which is, I was going to say they flew, but...
Penguins don't fly. Well, they do in the water.
They do. And off the edges of cliffs.
Yes.
I made this finally yesterday, Jane. We did a little bundle as a Friday deal. We did it with, so if you wanted to really sparkle.
Bling it up.
I mean,
nice.
that's a proper bling. But this is one of the, I haven't done it as a trinket box, but you can. So I haven't actually got around to
It'd be really
putting those
nice
in.
to just keep your threads in, actually,
Well,
wouldn't it?
It's kind of where I went with it. And then I just put one of our little screw things in there. But this was with the Lisa Chandler fans.
Beautiful.
And we have a few of those left. Someone in Australia was getting all upset because she can't get it.
Do they not do plim flare over in Australia?
I don't know, actually, because it's very much a UK thing.
Yeah. I'm surprised because they're quite international.
Nikki says she's going to the Cotswolds. She feels our pain. Traffic everywhere and too many grockles, says Lo. Hello, Lo. We had a job for you yesterday, Lo, and you weren't here. It's okay.
In our imaginary commune village.
It's not imaginary, it's just manifesting.
Yes, it's
That's
coming.
it, Jane. It's the manifesting village. Gemma said, was this Japanese chrysanthemum? And I said, no, this is Oxide Mums.
I'm loving that colourway.
I know. So if you are a Japanese art fan, as a certain Philip Jacobs is, you will take inspiration from such artists and you will use that style. And the mums bit is the chrysanthemums
Yes.
bit, but that's his nod too.
I'm loving that colourway.
With emerald,
Oh,
is not wrong.
it certainly isn't.
It's not, is it?
It's just got like a vibrancy to it, almost glows.
I know.
It's beautiful.
Next week, Jane. Just you wait till you see what I've got next week.
Oh, what chapter?
And you're going to need all your cafe for next week.
Oh, lovely. Oh,
And I'm
excited.
hoping we've got some new fabric on the way as well. I don't know when it's going to land. It's been shipped, but by a blind artist who we've not had before,
Ooh.
which I'm very excited about. Got all the stuff going on.
Cat's eyes.
I love these, but I realised again it was going to be really hard for people to pick which green.
So lovely chartreuse.
It is the chartreuse.
Beautiful.
So this is brand new Tula Pink,
Yes.
but actually just makes a really nice itsy. And if you do it this way up, actually just looks like baubles.
Yeah.
Beautiful baubles.
Yeah, it could act as a... Well, when you look at it from on the camera, it's almost like a stripe.
Yeah. Would you bind with it?
Oh, yeah.
Sash, bind, all that.
Make gorgeous binding, wouldn't it?
Imagine having that as a lining on a bag.
Oh,
Be
fabulous.
ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Bless you.
Excuse me while I sneeze quite a lot. Cat mats.
Oh,
It's a thing, Jane.
it's a gorgeous...
thing. Cat mats. Paperweight. Excuse me.
Yeah.
One of the original ones that Cave did.
Yeah.
Now he's brought it back in many, many, many colourways over the years, but this is paperweight, and I've picked out that emerald again. Seems to be a day for emerald.
It's a nice day for emerald.
Oh, excuse
Got
me.
all the greens going on.
I know.
You've got another 4 or so to go yet.
Oh,
Because
you know
always,
when I start sneezing,
yeah, when you
I
sneeze.
just don't stop. My
Glenn's-
mum's exactly the same.
Glenn's the same.
Really?
He doesn't sneeze, and then when he does about 10 in a row.
Yeah.
Really loudly.
Yeah. And it's not true what they say about it being equivalent to. It's just not. Right. Sticking with the Tula theme. I love this.
The cat tins. Snacks, cat snacks.
I just
Oh,
love
I
it.
love that with the aqua.
I know.
It's gorgeous.
Imagine your shopping bag in there.
Oh, that'd be fabulous as a shopping
Bit
bag.
of cork round the bottom.
Yeah. Well, even just your half-metre tote would look fabulous in that.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's all good. It's all good. Oh, now this. Right.
Is this Dina?
This is Dina Designs. But
I love her colour palette. It's lovely soft colourways. It's beautiful.
I am just going to say, if you're a bag making,
Oh, look
how
at that with the
beautiful.
cork.
is that,
That's stunning.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And yet oftentimes you get overlooked. And I keep buying it because I know really you need it.
What have we got it with? Lavender.
Yeah,
Nice.
of course.
Love it.
Right. Cushions. Just edged in that.
So pretty.
Right, so keeping on that theme then, I've got another Dina Designs down here.
Oh, I love this
This time
one.
with amethyst. But again, super duper duper pretty and upside down.
With the birds.
The detailing in here is really beautiful, and you can just see how
You could have
these
really good fun fussy cutting that.
are made to go together. Because these are like a bigger version of these,
Yeah. That's so pretty.
isn't it?
Yeah, you just put a little flash of this in between that.
Jane, build us a quilt.
There we go. Just have that like that. Just sets it off.
And you've got this incredible scale happening, haven't you?
Yeah, it's lovely. Beautiful.
I wanted
I
to
do
put-
love her artistry. It's
Yeah.
got a very fairy tale feel to it, I
Yes.
think.
Yes, 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 yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes. It is, Jane, isn't it? Very much so. And that is also with lavender. Right. Wasn't me. Can mean only one thing, Jane. It is Shaggy.
We love that. That is stunning.
Ha ha!
Fabulous.
I'd done enough with green.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, sangria me up, baby.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's just this one in between, isn't it? Just, oh, sits beautifully and makes the greens whiz.
Pop.
Yeah. Love it.
One of my favourites.
It's a classic, I think.
Isn't it?
It's got so many versatile uses.
Yep. One of which is just being stroked.
Well, yes.
Now this one is an interesting one. This is Dina Designs again.
It's just asking to be made into a bag, that is.
I know,
Again, with the
Jane.
cork.
Right, line it with that. Whip your cork out, Jane. Isn't it lovely?
Yeah, you can have really good fun just stripping that, she says. You know, cut the strips and then put a plain in between and then lots of fun with that.
All the stuff,
All
right?
the things. Nice.
There you go. Thinking of you. Always thinking of you. So there they are. That is ready for tomorrow. These are loaded and ready to go live at midnight tonight. Jane, show us what else you got.
I've got the other cheats panel. I don't like the word cheats panel, but
I thought you called them cheats panels.
they are
So
called
I've got
cheats
them.
panels. It's how they're known within the industry, but it just
Sounds rude.
sounds rude, doesn't it? This is the beach house, which
Yeah,
has
but
got
you would
the
want to cheat because there's absolutely
mariner's
no way.
compass. Yeah, I mean,
Just none, Jane. No way.
mariner's compass is traditionally a done foundation paper piece, and a lot of us aren't keen on that. I actually like foundation paper piecing. It's
do?
how I originally learnt to patchwork.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay then.
So to me, it's like second nature because that's how I started making my patchwork things. So, but yes, I understand that some people just don't like it. I do find that people who are left-handed find it easier than right-handed people generally.
Why?
And I think it's because you're working upside down and back to front. And I think that's how left-handed people's brains work. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I'm not being derogatory. I just think that when you're left-handed, your brain works in a different way.
Well, they know that, don't they?
Yeah.
The left and the right side of the brain work
Yeah.
differently.
So
This we know.
I've found that people who are left-handed pick it up a lot quicker because they're
That's why I can't do it.
upside down. You can do it. You've done it. I've seen you do it. You made something beautiful, and I can't remember what it is now.
It was the Union
That's it,
Flag.
the Union flag.
out of Moda Fabrics.
Yeah, was gorgeous.
Yeah.
As are the fabrics that go with this kit. Well,
Oh, should
the
we have a
panel. You've
This
got.
is Beach Hut, and I kind of want this.
I'm not sure why it's called Beach Hut, unless there's other fabrics
There
in the
are-
collection that have beach huts on them.
And also because the Mariner's Star is.
Beachy, yeah.
I didn't like the other fabrics, so I didn't buy them.
It's fair
But
enough.
I love these.
We've
So I
got the
went for
shade
these.
in here, which is beautiful. You've got two of one pattern and two of another, and this is a lovely vine with flowers on in the mid blue and the dark blue. They're gorgeous. I love it, and I think I love it because I like navy and gold.
Gold!
I just love it. And this one, this is really interesting because it's got a lovely design running through it, which I quite like the symmetry of that. It's almost like a stripe, which you could have lots of fun with. And that's in the cream, and then a slightly deeper blue to that one. But of course, because they're from the same fabric range, they all blend beautifully. And you may find that some of the designs are within the pre-printed panel
You may well find that. This is not a coincidence.
because
Jane.
it all goes together beautifully.
If you're picking a plain to go with it, ivory would be the one.
Yeah, and we chose, Izzy and I had not a debate because we agreed really that it was a difficult blue for our plains to match, but our cadet blue actually is the one that sits the nicest. And I've got some binding strip pieces here. So that's our cadet plain, which sort of sits the best. Because it's quite almost on the teal side, this blue. It's got a lovely tone to it. It's really rich.
Oh, lovely. Gemma
I
says,
do
is
love
this a
it.
kit? We had the full...
No, because I didn't think we needed to make a kit because we've got the yard panel and then we've got the bundle of 4 half meters.
Yes.
So
So you can either buy the fabrics or you can, you can put
buy
the
one
panel in
or
with
the
it.
other or whatever
Yeah.
you want to do. I'll show you what I did with this one, and we'll talk about quilting and things like that. So I've got the startings of a table runner. I didn't quite get it finished getting it quilted because I didn't start it till this morning, as you do. Nothing like being prepared, is there? Doing all my prep. So,
Oh, that's a bit gorgeous.
something like a nice runner. Make it as long or as short as you like. Make table mats that matched. Because I was looking at it, thought if you did that, you'd have this as your runner, and then you could have placemats that looked like that to go with it. And out of your yard panel, you get loads. A fussy cut.
Jane, apparently Gemma has loaded the caddies at $5.99.
Oh, I see.
So even better. There you go.
Wow. I cut
That's a
these as
neat
squares. This looks like it's not cut properly, but they are. We've cut it so that you get a full panel. Because if we cut it on the bolt, you could see what would happen. I mean, that's...
Bolts are funny things, aren't they?
Well, it's not loaded on the bolt straight. And if you there are videos out there of how they load the fabric onto the bolt. And if you see how they do it, it goes so fast, it's not surprising that sometimes it gets loaded a little bit wonky. But we've done our best to give you a good, I think it's nearly an inch either side of the the canvas. So we've cut them with scissors by hand. So they're a little bit wobbly, but they're better than cutting it with our electric scissors off the bolt, as we normally do.
Yes.
So when you open it and you look at it and you think, hang on, it is cut straighter than it looks. You could cut 4 of these, make them into a front panel. You could make a wider runner with 4, with 2 rows. You could just make a quilt. This is the yard panel. So you left that as it is, like that. Put beautiful borders round it.
Yeah.
Quilted it and bound it, and make a beautiful quilt. If you've got like a she shed, one that isn't full of gardening tools, but is nice with your garden chairs in and your gin and tonic for the evening. Well, some people
have these little
we've got our shepherd's hut, you see.
Yeah.
Although mine is absolutely ram full of fabric and quilts, we do have a patio area by it, which we sit out in the evening sometimes, and it would be nice to have quilts that you're quite happy to just sling over the back of the chair, and then as the evening draws in, it gets a bit chilly, you've got it there to slip over your knee or around your shoulders.
That's a prime one for backing with a fleece or something like that, if it's going to be an outdoorsy one. We have got fleece. Yeah. Lovely.
And I think the pre-printed panels, and I don't want to sound like I'm putting them down, but because you haven't put all that energy into the piecing, you don't worry so much if it gets a little bit damp or a bit grubby from being on the grass or something. Do you know what I mean?
You're happy to throw it in the wash.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you spend a lot of time piecing a quilt, you can feel a little bit, don't touch that. don't drag it on the floor.
Precious, I think, Jane. It's like when these people make the most exquisite quilts, and then they see like it being wrapped as a Superman cape around a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do make quilts to do that.
To be used.
To be used like that,
Yeah.
because that's what you want, is you want
Yeah.
to make something that you know is going to be loved. And if it becomes a Superman quilt or a tent or a magic carpet,
Doesn't
that's
matter.
even better because it's loved.
It's being used.
It's being used and being loved, and that's why we make them. I mean, we've seen some beautiful quilts from the photos from the NEC Festival of Quilts.
Stunning.
And I mean, some of those you wouldn't want to put on your bed because you certainly wouldn't want the cat to sit on it.
Could you imagine?
They are works of art, and that is equally as beautiful as having a pre-printed panel that is Superman's cape and dragged around the garden.
Superman's cape. Nice.
Yeah, so I love both of these. It's hard to choose really because they're both beautiful in their own way.
And also sometimes you just want something that's impactful
Yeah.
and beautiful.
And if you're just starting out on your quilting journey, this is a really good place to have a practice on because you haven't spent the time doing the piecing, and then if it goes a bit wobbly, it goes a bit wobbly. It doesn't matter.
We don't have many of these left in stock because I know
It doesn't
a lot
surprise
of
me
people have
because they're
already gone
beautiful.
for it. Yeah.
They are beautiful.
So if you want it, please grab them before they're gone.
The beauty of these panels is that you can just quilt them with your walking foot and they will look impactful.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with straight line quilting. It gives a valuable effect. It does what it needs to do. It holds the three layers together, which is what quilting is. It's 3 layers of fabric sewn together. And you can get a lot of effects with your walking foot. You can do gentle curves. All of this has been done with the walking foot. Gone in the curves there. I've gone around the centre circle and around the outside, and then I've simply followed the points.
Now, if we're just talking about quilting, we have got a deal on the 80/20 wadding, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we've taken £1 off that.
That's my favourite. I like the 80/20 best. You can get lots of different types of wadding. You can get the polyester wadding, which is great for children's quilts, cushion fronts, things that are going to be washed a lot because polyester doesn't shrink. So that's really good for things that you know are going to be washed a lot. Then you've got your 80/20, which is a combination of usually cotton and polyester. 80% cotton, 20% polyester.
And the polyester is just holding it together, isn't it?
And it just reduces the shrinkage.
Yeah.
It's got about, I think their manufacturer says up to a 5% shrinkage.
Yeah.
And if you like
Which
that
is
sort
in
of
line with most of your cotton fabrics.
yeah.
Like a good quality cotton fabric, not some of the really, really loose woven sort of Aldi fat quarter types.
And I think as manufacturing processes have modernised and got better, hardly shrinks at all really now, particularly at the cottons we use because they are such high quality, densely woven ones.
So if you want to take advantage of that, it works out at being £2 off a metre because we're taking £1 off a half metre because we sell it by the half metre.
Yes,
so
we
£2
do.
off a metre on the Valiselina 279 wadding.
Fabulous.
But again, these are all going to be in today's show things. So do go and grab a look at that. When we do these, it's worth grabbing.
Worth building up having them in your stash because you're always going to need some.
Yeah.
If you make quilts, cushions, even bag making to a degree, if you don't want to, if you don't want it firm, if you want it soft, this works just as well for your bags and stuff and your pouches.
And also for your handles.
Yeah, great for your handles. So yeah, you've got your 80/20. Then you have like your cotton or your bamboo, which is 100% of those. Bamboo is sustainable, so is quite eco-friendly.
Nice.
You can get waddings that are made out of bottles, so they've got like a little green tinge to them.
Oh yeah.
They've recycled completely, so that really is eco-friendly. And then you get your wool. And wool, of course, as we know, is natural. Well, as cotton is natural fibre, nice and warm in the winter and cool in the summer.
Yeah.
And has a heavier weight to it, so drapes really nicely. You sometimes find with your polyester that it can be a bit stiff, but after a couple of washes it soon softens off.
Yeah. It's like Ruben's just come wandering in and just trodden
All over you.
and tripped over me. He's now going on his bed.
Oh,
so
bless
sorry if you just heard me sort of gasp, go, Ruben, because I've got flip-flops on.
Yeah. And as his feet are nearly as big as yours.
Oh, they're massive, aren't they?
Beautiful boy.
We were laughing about them on the beach the other day because it just looked like bears. Been
Walking
have been roaming on the beach, doesn't it really do?
I've backed this with calico. As I'm thinking, oh, it's a table runner, chances of you wanting to turn it over are very unlikely. So calico is perfect.
But Jane, we've got so many fabrics with a third off in our bolt end and just clearance sale.
Yeah.
Please, please, please grab them now.
They would be perfect. And you know, if you're gifting it, you probably want to put a nicer fabric on the back.
Yeah, for sure.
So that they could turn it over if they wish to. And then particularly if you're making it as a bed runner, because you might want to have it turned over in the daytime when the cat's sleeping on it.
If you yeah, right. If you know, the cat will probably spurn it if it's just got calico on it.
Yeah.
If you know that it's going to be a wall hanging, don't go to the expense.
No.
Just get calico. We've got super wide back in stock with the calico, so grab yourself some of that. Perfect. Job done.
I have just used one
Oh, Jane.
to make like what I would consider to be a cushion front. And I'm going to show you the quilting on this one when we come to do how we do it.
Bear with me. Oh, Jane.
Now you can see here that I've trimmed this one down so it's all level, ready for binding. When you make your quilt or your cushion front or your table runner, whatever you're quilting, always have the backing and the quilt and the wadding at least an inch. If you're making a quilt, I would say if you're doing it yourself, have 2 inches all the way around. If you're taking it to the long arm quilter, because it may be a male, will want it minimum of 4 inches bigger all the way around.
Right.
Because of loading it onto the machine.
Yeah, I get that.
So think about that when you're getting your backing fabrics, because if you're going to take it to be long arm quilted, you'll need to have that little bit extra. We do this, the long arm quilter will need it for loading purposes. They need to be able to load it on before they put the quilt top on, and it takes a little bit more. You can find that as you quilt it, it will pull it in, which is why we leave the extra around the edge. If I'm making a quilt, I put my backing down and I tape it. I do it on the floor.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I tape it and I start in the middle of the sides. I use masking tape, just ordinary masking tape from your local DIY shop. Start from the middle of the sides. I don't do it corner to corner because obviously that's bias and it will stretch the back. You want it tight but not overstretched. And then I'll start from the middle and I'll work my way up to the corners, and I'll do one side and then the opposite side, and then I'll do the top and the bottom. But I start by, I would say north, south, east, west, and just get it anchored down and make sure that it's nice and smooth and ready to go. Then I float my wadding on. Now, when you get your wadding, usually it's been rolled up or folded or whatever, and it may have a few creases in it. And what you need to do is you need to just, if you've got the time, let it rest for 24 hours.
Really?
After you've unwrapped it, just so that it can relax and some of the creases will come out of it. If you've got really stubborn creases, you can, now I'm going to say you can iron it. No, I don't mean you can iron it. Get your steam and hover your iron over the top of it. And what that will do, the moisture and the steam will just relax the wadding and just get rid of those creases. But don't put the iron on it, because you will flatten it and then you'll lose your, particularly your polyester.
Does not like that new iron.
No, he doesn't. He came and told me that you were using it yesterday.
He's been up and down. It's been on today.
Yeah,
and he's not
he
been
can't
happy
settle.
about the situation.
Can't
No, he really
settle.
can't. I've bought actually one of those DVD, CD things that did, because we suddenly thought, oh crikey, for bonfire night, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yes.
One of those desensitising things. So hopefully.
That's a good idea.
Sylv says hello
Hi,
over
Sylv.
on YouTube. Is Tash able to walk? if her feet are still in Cornwall. They'll be back there this afternoon, don't you worry. Hi, Cynthia. I think the star is the Christmas star shining and the basket represents the manger, says Lorraine.
It could well be.
Could well be. Cynthia's a self-confessed panel hoarder.
You can never have enough panels. They're always great to have.
When you need a quilt in a hurry.
Yeah. Particularly the children's ones.
Yeah.
If you've got a sudden baby shower or a
We've
new
got
arrival.
pirate panels, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got advent panels. We've got all sorts of panels.
Lots of lovely things. We've got the nice hungry caterpillar. He's all good. With the rainbow. Yeah. He's lovely. Yeah, so let your wadding rest if you can, if you've got the time. Just makes it easier for you. You'll get a better result.
Easier, Jane. Easier.
You know, we like that, don't we?
What?
And then put your quilt top on the top, and as I say, just make sure you've got room all the way around. Now, you could tack the 3 layers together. Start from the middle, big tacking stitches, and again north, south, east, west, and then go in tram lines up and down through your quilt. We have, and I forgot to bring them in, I put them on my table and then I forgot them. We have got the curved safety pins, which save so much time.
Oh yes, do you need them?
You don't need to lift your fabric. You can put your pin in, and as you put the pin in, you just rock it back and it pops out and you can close it.
Chris says it's gorgeous as a cushion cover, but the panel is sold out now. I'm not surprised. And apparently
we
your
had 2 bolts
microphone
of that. Of this one.
Have we?
Wow, we did have, yeah. My microphone making a noise. I put it lower down hoping it wouldn't knock against my necklace. Or is it quiet?
I don't know. Maybe shove it up a little bit.
Put it up there. Is
Oh,
that better?
Sue's Holly, their dog, ate the top off a huge mariner's compass that Sue made out of French General when she was 1.
No. Might have been because of the starch.
Don't
They
know.
like the taste.
She caught her within an hour of eating it, but of course it was a Sunday night and a £250 call out for and inducing vomiting.
Yeah, I've got a couple of quilts with corners chewed on them when we had our dog that was a puppy.
Oof.
Yeah. So pop your top on.
Oh no, Claire made the Fibonacci quilt for a friend and she prefers the backing fabric. I just think, no, all that work on the front and you hide it.
Oh. But she still loves it.
She loves it.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. And you know what, when it gets handed down, the next generation might love the front.
Yeah. And it won't be as worn.
Yeah.
Because she's kept it safe.
There you go.
So every cloud. So yeah, when you've got your 3 layers put together now, for this piece of work and this piece, I use spray adhesive.
He did.
Because it's small enough and I'm going to quilt it virtually straight away. I wouldn't recommend using spray adhesive on a big quilt because it won't hold it. By the time you've done the middle bit, it'll start to come apart and just cause you frustration. You might want to put spray adhesive on to start with while you get it all flat and straightened, but you'll still need to pin it.
Yeah.
And I think, why waste your adhesive to do that if you're going to pin it anyway?
Why?
But that's just my opinion.
No.
And we all do it our own way. And, you know, there's no wrong or right way as far as I'm concerned. You do what's best for you. So, thread-wise, I use a slightly thicker thread. So I tend to piece with a 60 weight thread and then I'll quilt with a 50 or a 40 weight.
Okay.
I think Orifil is a 50 weight, which we piece with, and then you can get 40 weight, which is lovely. It's just slightly thicker. You really can't tell the difference. And if you want to quilt with your 50 weight, that's perfectly fine too. Again, nobody's going to check. Nobody's going to be looking and say, you've used a different weight thread there. Longer stitch, slightly longer stitch with the walking foot. I usually do 3 to 3.5, depending on which machine I'm using. Just because you want, although it's, you know, functional to hold the layers together, you do want to see your stitching when you're quilting because it's decorative too. If you've got blocks of patterns, I would stabilise my quilt by stitching in the ditch through all the blocks first in like a grid. And then once that's done, you know your quilt is pretty much stable, and then you can go to town with your extra quilting and all the other bits. But I would do that first. So on this cushion cover, I would quilt in this piece here and around this bit here first before I do anything in the middle bit. People say to quilt from the middle out, and yes, if you're going to do a big design, then yes, probably start in the middle and work your way out. But if you've if you've got blocks, I would start in the middle of my quilt and then quilt out, because then if you've got some that's glitter, you can always smooth it out.
Yeah.
And when I'm quilting my grid lines, I always start from the same end side and go that direction. I don't go forward and back, because it will move the fabric and you'll end up with a bit of a wrinkle.
Oh, okay.
So always go from the same direction if you can.
So it's not like when you're sewing strips together and you want to alternate, so you don't get the banana-ing.
No, you want to keep it going all the same way.
Okay. Oh,
because even with the walking foot, it will just shift your fabric just slightly and give you a little bit of a wrinkle.
Yes, I've had that.
Yeah.
But I assumed the banana-ing situation. Oh, right, okay. Good to know. Every day's a school day. This is good.
It's all good. All the tips and hints.
Yes.
Your walking foot, every machine's got slightly different walking foot. This machine is lovely because it has a little gadget at the back that just folds down, just pulls out and folds down and sits underneath the foot. It's called an even feed.
Hang on. We're going to get to that. There you go.
So I don't know if you can see it. It just comes down here and sits underneath the foot.
Slight towards you.
I go like that. Oops, sorry, I just lowered it. You want to do it with your foot raised as well. Don't do it while the foot's down because it won't do it. Just sits down underneath. And what it does, it just takes some of the pressure of your presser foot. It's called a presser foot because it presses down on your fabric, and the feed dogs feed the fabric through. Well, when you've got 3 layers, if you've got that pressing down and the feed dogs feeding, it's going to move the layers. That's one reason why we tack, and it's also why we use a walking foot, because your walking foot has got feed dogs on the bottom, and so the feed dogs and the walking foot walk together and feed your fabric through evenly.
It's clever stuff.
It is magical. It's got they've usually got like a bar on the foot, quite clunky, and they're bigger. And they sit on your machine. You take your presser footer off and you put it on your machine, and you want to have the bar. Now some of them have got like a fork, and that sits either side of the nut that holds the needle in, and some of them are just a bar, and that sits on top of the needle.
So refer to your manufacturer's.
Yeah, and your guidebook for your machine.
Yeah.
But they are a lovely foot to have, and quite often you can buy a machine and it comes with all the quilting equipment, and if you can get one like that, because your walking foot can work out quite expensive on its own. So if you can buy it in a diggle,
is a consumable, and at some point
they wear out.
It will break.
Yeah, I think I'm on my 5th walking foot.
I got so cross when I found that out. It's like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean?
The first time it happened to me, I was like, oh my God, I've broken it, because it just literally fell apart.
Yeah, me too.
And I couldn't get it back together. And I went to the one of the shows and I said, oh, my walking foot's broken. And he said, no, you've just worn it out.
Yeah. Exactly that.
He said, they're consumables, they don't last forever.
Yeah, it's like needle threaders.
Yeah.
They're not covered with a warranty.
Well, they get bashed.
Yeah.
you know, and it distorts the hook. Okay, so once you've got it all prepared and it's all nice and smooth and you're ready to go, we can just start quilting. And it's like when you sew normally with your walking foot, it's just sewing straight lines. So as I said, with this, we'll go round the outside of this block, and I'm quilting in the ditch. I'll just explain about what quilting in the ditch is. When you sew two pieces together and you press one to one side, you've got one layer of fabric that's just slightly raised above the other one. So this one is flat and this one is just slightly raised, and it's just where that fabric folds over. So when I'm quilting in the ditch, I'm quilting as close to that raised edge as I can, but on the flatter side. And that way the stitch sort of disappears into the fabric. And quite often you can line your foot up with the edge of your fabric and you know that you're in the ditch. Some people call it ditch hopping because you tend to go in and out, and it doesn't matter if you end up slightly on the other piece and not in the ditch. At the end of the day, we're making something for ourselves or for somebody that we love, and they're not going to check it. If you're taking it for competition, then that's a different matter, but generally speaking, the most of our work goes to
Friends and family.
Friends and family, or for ourselves.
You aren't going to judge. Apparently we are buffering a little bit. If you just hover on the picture and go back 10 seconds, that should solve that one.
And a nice steady speed, not too fast. Your walking foot doesn't like to go fast. It's called a walking foot for a reason.
Oh, Jane, I'm glad you told me that.
Please don't race with it because that will break it.
These feet are made for walking.
Yeah.
And that's just what they'll do.
We know you want to quilt as quickly as you can to get the project finished, but you'll only wreck your foot. This machine is lovely because it has the facility to, when you stop, the foot raises automatically. So I don't have to keep lifting it and moving it, which is lovely. But it's simply a case of, you know, when you get to a corner or wherever you need to be. Now, when you get to the end, you can either do, it depends how the finish you want for your quilt. Now, because this is going to be a cushion cover, I'm not bothered about what it looks on this side because that's going to be hidden inside the cushion. If it's a quilt and you're finishing it for somebody or gifting it, you might want to take a bit more time and tie your and thread your ends in. So you can either do a stay stitch and just press your thread cutter. And if you press your thread cutter, you will end up like this. I don't know if you can see it because it's white on cream, but you'll just end up with all these ends on the reverse of your quilt. Now you can trim those ends down a little bit because it has knotted the fabric by stitching on the spot, so you can trim them down a little bit so they don't show. But I wouldn't recommend trimming them right up level because you might snip through the knot. So aesthetically, it's not as neat, but it's finished.
It's done, Jane. Done,
And because that will probably be a table runner and you won't ever look really on the reverse of it, again, it doesn't matter. And as I say, with your cushion, it doesn't matter. What you can do if you want to tie the ends in, and if it's a quilt that you're probably going to gift, you just lift your foot, take the thread, pull it and snip it. So you've got a good sort of up to 3-inch length. Pop a needle in here. This needle is probably too big, but it does the job.
Just down in front of you, Jane, there's a whole box of size 10s.
Oh, lovely.
Just in that caddy, that big square.
Oh, yeah, I see.
And it's in one of the pin.
Can't see for looking. I can use this needle, it'll be fine.
Sure.
Yeah. So you've got 2 ends at the top and you should have 2 ends at the back. Sometimes you'll only have a very small end that you started with, and that might have woven itself into your stitches, so that's fine. But if you take your back thread and give it a tug, you'll see a loop appears from the top thread. And if you just pop your needle in, you can just pull that thread through. And then you can tie it, literally tie it. So you tie it once, tie it twice to make a knot. And then you'll take those two threads, and this is why it's nice to have a needle with quite a big eye. And you just take the thread and you go in between your layers. So I'm level with the top there. I don't know if you can see the needle, but it's level with that backing thread. But if you go into your wadding, that's fine. But you just don't want to see it on the front, obviously. Just take it, run it along, pull that through. Just give it a little tug so it ruches the fabric slightly. And then snip it as close as you feel comfortable against the backing fabric, and then let it go, and it just takes that thread back in, and that secures the thread and makes it tidy and it's out of the way. And if you've got an odd thread that doesn't come through, you can do it on the front. Just take it through into the fabric, pull it out, and give it a snip.
She's always going fast. She's really naughty. And Jan says, can it be done with a roller foot? What's a roller foot, Jane?
I don't know what a roller foot is.
No, I don't know what a roller foot is. I thought there were feet I knew nothing about.
I'm not familiar with a roller foot, so I don't know.
You would have to tell us more, Jan. Tell us more about your roller feet. Maybe she's thinking like rollerblades. If you've got a walking foot, maybe you could have like a rollerblade.
Oh, how cool would that be?
That would be very, yeah.
So,
Jane, I am going to leave you to do this for a second. I'm going to go and see if there is a second bolt, because we've sold out of the Beach Hut panel. We've got 5 left of the Joy panel. That's it.
wow.
Where do you think that panel might be? And I'll go and have a rummage.
On the shelf, the 3rd shelf down under the cave by where the Tula was.
Okay, and have we cut all the other ones?
No.
No.
I don't think any have been cut, because I think we've been sort of cutting it.
Because they're not panel, are they?
No.
No, okay.
We've been cutting it to order.
What camera angle would you like whilst I leave you for
Well,
a
let's
moment?
go close up, because I'm going to talk about doing a curve with your walking foot so we can see.
I'm walking, I'm moving,
Okay.
I'm back.
All right. Don't leave me for too long.
I'll leave you with Ruben.
Okay, I'll be safe. So,
Well, I think you'll have to protect him, Jane.
gentle curves with your walking foot are fine. And it's just really a case of lowering your foot helps. Just doing a few stitches, and you can turn your fabric. Because you've got a walking foot on, you've got a little bit more play in your fabric. It moves a little bit easier because it's not being pressed down and held firmly. Now, when I'm quilting, I'm looking at, I put my hands in sort of like sort of effectively a triangle or a diamond shape, depending on how you look at it. Obviously, do it so it's comfortable for you, but and I hold the fabric down, just sort of smoothing it away from the needle. So, but I'm only looking at the fabric that's within my hand space there, this space here. I don't worry about what's going on around here. So I'm just concentrating on this space here. Now, when you're sewing, quilting, look at where you're going and not where the needle is. It's a bit like when you're driving, you don't look at the bonnet, do you? You look at the road ahead. And that will help you move in the way that you need to move. You can see that I stop occasionally and just adjust my fabric and just my hand position. And because this machine automatically lifts, that's fine, but you might just need to stop and take your foot up and then position your quilt, but make sure you leave the needle in your fabric while you do that so that it doesn't move too much. And you can just follow that shape around, take your time. And that's the beauty of having the speed regulator on your machine. You can really turn it right down while you get used to quilting. And we can just run that end in. Just put my needle into the fabric. There it is.
Jane, we've loaded more.
Fabulous. That's good. That's good news.
So anybody that wanted this one, the beach hut one,
Yeah.
we have. Yeah, Jane's quite right. We have got another bolt.
I think you possibly knew that it was going to be yard pieces, and so got two.
I
Because you're
knew
clever like
something, Jane.
Because you're clever like that. So I'm going to go around the middle, and I'm going to go around this outside edge one as well, to give that a nice feel. And this is a shallower curve, so you could maybe go a little bit faster if you felt confident. But the speed you quilt at is nobody's business but yours. So, you know, just because you've got a friend who quilts faster than you, it doesn't matter. You do what you're comfortable with, and you go at your own pace. I'm going to do my classes, I always say, you don't give out prizes for coming first. So, you know, you don't have to whiz around and do stuff.
How can you say that during the Olympics, Jane? That's exactly what they do.
Yeah. Oh, I've been so inspired by the Olympics this week.
Do you know what?
They're just phenomenal.
It
And
seems
you
like
it must be quite nostalgic for you, because you must sort of know what they're going through to achieve what they've achieved.
I know, it's blinking hard work.
An Olympian yourself.
Well, I had 2 car crashes 6 weeks apart and lost the power in my right arm, so I never made it. But
you did all the training, didn't you?
I did all the training, that I did, yes. And actually, weirdly enough, my best event was the 10-metre pistol. That was, so when I see that guy, because when you do, we were talking about this, because my favourite one has been the Turkish guy that just sort of looked like he'd rocked up out the pub.
Yeah.
With his pistol, and everybody else has got all the gizmos and gadgets in all the world. But I was a pentathlete, so as I started, they changed the shooting and the running into a run shoot. It was a combined event by the time that I started. They'd only just changed it. So you would accumulate your points through the first 3 events: your fencing, your swimming, and your show jumping, and then you'd have a staggered start. And you'd have to go, you'd be let go and you'd run straight, do your targets. You'd have to get 5, or you got held with a time penalty.
Oh gosh.
And then you used to have to run a kilometre, come back, shoot, run a kilometre, shoot, run a kilometre, and then finish.
Yeah.
So I knew I was a much better shot than I was runner. So I would have to slow my running slightly to get my breathing under control. But we didn't have all this fancy eye gear or anything.
No.
We had a bit of lycra and a sweat on.
Yeah.
That's what we had.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Amazing. And you know, the pole vaulters and all of that, it's just like...
It's incredible. And the
You're
gymnastics.
flying.
What is that?
Yeah.
How did they do all
So
of that?
when I was watching the guys doing the rings, strength in their shoulders and arms.
Just incredible.
Just incredible.
And the American guy that did the horse event, the gymnastics horse event.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't any good at any of the others, so he just concentrated on that. Do you know we can do a Rubik's Cube in under 10 seconds? Just
Wow.
incredible. And yeah, just like a proper geek, takes his glasses off like Clark Kent and then goes swinging around on that. Just amazing.
Fabulous.
Yeah, there've been some really inspirational people this summer.
Yeah. I just think they're phenomenal, and our guys have just done really well. Really well. Right, so I'm going
back to this.
No, I'm going to just go around the points in the middle now on this one, and then we'll talk a little bit about free motion quilting. You can do as much or as little quilting on this. You could go around that circle that's within on the yellow and do the points on this one, but I'm just going to do the main blue, darker blue points on this. I think having those not quilted sort of sits them behind and makes them look like they're behind the actual star. And again, it's just take your time down one side, make sure your needle's dropped in, and you lift your foot, and then you turn your fabric. And you just keep spinning it round, going up and down. Oops, I've got a bit of an extra stitch on there, so I just lift my needle out of my fabric and just move it back down. Sometimes the stitch doesn't catch and so you don't get it stitched, but that one has. You know, maybe if I was being pernickety at home, I might stop and take it out and unpick that bit and then start again.
That will be on a day where we went on a time limit.
Yeah.
You don't get to be pernickety on our watch.
Definitely not. Let's get it finished. Yeah, no. But you know what you can live with and what you can't when you're doing your sewing. Some of us are very much, oh, that'll do. And others are, no, I need to undo that and start again. And that's fine. We all run to our own tune, don't we?
Yeah.
But these panels are great to practice on.
Yeah, no, of
As
course.
I say, you know, if you're new to quilting and you're a bit worried about quilt, you know, you've spent a long time piecing a quilt and you're a bit worried about making a start on your quilting, maybe buy one of these panels and just have a play on the panel first. Nobody needs to see. You don't have to show anybody else it, do you? And it just gives you the idea and the feel about how you can move the fabric and the speed that you need to go at, and all of the, you know, the little hints and tips that you'll discover as you go through. And you'll find your machine likes a certain thing and doesn't like doing another thing. Some machines aren't very keen on going backwards, you know, just they don't like it very much. But with the walking foot, you're always sewing in the same direction, so you're okay. You just have to move the fabric like you would do if you were sewing pieces. And it's quite relaxing once you get over the fear of it. Because I think we're all a little bit frightened of quilting to start with. We always think, oh, it's so hard, it's so difficult, but it isn't really. And once you get into the rhythm of it, you'll find it quite nice. What I will say to you is don't sit and quilt for too long.
Right, okay.
Just 20 minutes at a time maybe. Get up, have a stretch, roll your shoulders back, because you do tend to hold yourself tight when you're quilting. So it's just an idea just to step back and roll your shoulders and relax your shoulders, maybe have a little walk round and then come back to it. And sometimes if you feel that you haven't quilted particularly nicely and you're a bit worried about it, having that break, walking away from it and coming back, and then you'll look at it again and you'll be like, oh, actually, that's not so bad. Right, so free motion quilting.
It's that perspective, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just giving yourself a bit of a break.
Chris, give me a moment. I've just asked Gemma if she can rejig some of the stock to make some more of the bundles. The 4 fabric bundle for the beach hut has sold out. Various are available individually or as half meter heavens or what have you. I've just asked Gemma if she can rejig. I don't know if she can. That'll depend on stock levels.
Yeah.
But if she can, great, I'm sure she will. If she can't, you're just going to have to grab what you can out of the bits we've got.
Yeah.
Just don't forget that we have... oh, she's done it. There you go. She's good, aren't you?
She's clever. She's
like,
clever,
yeah,
clever lady.
on it.
So we're going to do free motion quilting now. We've got our free motion foot. This one is clear plastic. Some of them are metal. Some of them are complete circles, like this one. Some of them are more like a horseshoe shape. They all do the same thing. Sometimes they're called a free motion foot, sometimes they're called an embroidery foot, sometimes they're called a darning foot. You can even do free motion embroidery with no foot on. with just the needle.
What?
Yeah, because actually when you're free motion embroidering, quilting, you are in charge of the machine and you move it. Now obviously if you're just going to use the needle on its own, you've got to be careful that you don't push the fabric and bend or break your needle, but you can do it. So you just put your foot on, again refer to your instruction manual as to how to put your feet on, and because all machines are slightly different. Now you can drop the feed dogs on your machine. That's up to you and your machine and how you feel about it. I don't drop the feed dogs on my machine. I feel that I don't need to. My machine is happy with that. This machine is the same. So again, you can have a read through your manual. It probably won't tell you one way or the other, but you'll have a little switch on your machine somewhere that tells you on here it's a digital display and you can drop the feed dogs on the display whichever way you want to do. You need to lower your embroidery foot so that the tension discs are engaged, and that will help you then raise your bobbin thread to the top. So you drop your needle into your project and then you lift the needle out, and that will catch the bobbin thread, and you can pull that out, and you just want to grab it and pull it so that you've got a good length of thread, as I said before, about 3 inches. It's only so that you can get it onto your needle to thread it back in. Now if you have to manually raise and lower your foot, you need to raise your foot now, drop your needle back into where it came out. You can do that with the hand crank or by dropping the needle in. You can use your unpicker, a little pair of scissors, a needle, a pin, and just grab those 2 threads and pull them so that they go under the foot. So they're now level with the fabric. And then you drop your foot again so you're engaged. You have to be careful sometimes when you're quilting and stuff, because you've got those 3 layers. It can look like your foot is lowered.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't got a fancy machine like ours that goes, oh, stop, you've got your foot raised, you'll wonder why it's not stitching, or the stitching goes loopy, and that's because you haven't engaged your foot.
Okay.
When you're free motion quilting, if you don't move the fabric, then it won't move.
Do you know what? That sounds so ridiculous, and yet. I'm
just gonna, I'm not holding this fabric now, so if I just put my foot on the machine, it's moving it a little bit because my feed dogs are still engaged, but it doesn't really move.
This took me a while, and it sounds so silly, but it took me a while to figure that. I'm like, why am I not going anywhere?
Yeah. So free motion quilting, you move the fabric. You want to go at a slightly faster pace. The slower you move the fabric, the shorter your stitch. The quicker you move the fabric, the longer your stitch. So again, maybe make yourself a little sandwich with calico or some scrap fabrics, so that you can have a play before you start. Have a little practice.
Do you know what? I've already seen people popping in their baskets things like the long quarter, the mystery long quarter bundles, stuff like that, which means that you're getting really inexpensive fabrics. You're not knowing what you're getting, but you are getting ones, and if you have any sizable stash, you know it's going to work with something in there.
And so you just keep moving your fabric around once you're ready and you feel comfortable. And as I say, make yourself a little, well, I call them a scribble cloth. And it's just a piece of 2 pieces of calico with the wadding in between. And you can have a play then, and you can try different stitches, different shapes. You can make different, you can make flower shapes, you can make heart shapes, you can make waves. Or you can just do a little filigree, which is the one I'm doing here. You just go round, just filling up the shapes that you want to fill with your free motion. This panel itself and the other panel lend themselves nicely to using just a straight stitch with your walking foot, but there are blank areas that you can have a little play with your free motioning. You could do flowers in the squares between the joy mock piece blocks. You could add borders and do free motion quilting in your borders. It's just a case of just moving your fabric around. I make it look easy.
Yes, you do, Jane.
And it's all about practice.
Okay.
The more you do it, the easier it gets. And I can't show you how to practice because you've got to do it for yourself. You'll hate it the first time you do it.
Oh, Jane.
You'll be like, my stitching's awful, I can't do this, this is terrible, oh my God, I'll never be any good at this. But keep going. My teacher said to me, you're better off doing 10 minutes each day than you are doing half an hour once a week. As I say, just make yourself a scribble cloth, just keep having a go. And you'll do it the one day and you'll be like, oh, this is all right. And you'll look back at your others and you'll be like, oh gosh, yes, see how much I've improved. So don't throw it away, keep it. Keep the scribble cloth with your very first one on, where your stitches were all uneven, and you've got loopy bits and you've got eyelashes on the back. Keeping it a nice steady place is the key, which again, if you've got the speed regulator on your machine, just makes it so much easier. And you can have fun with it, just creating little designs and having a play. And then you've got both your threads at the top. You can tie those off again. So just 1 knot, 2 knots. Take the 2 threads and just take those into between the layers. Take it along a little bit, give it a pull, and then snip it as close as you feel comfortable against your fabric, and then those will just go back in. But you can get some lovely effects. You could do more in the middle bit or not, leave it as it is. But what you'll find is the denser you do your filigree, the more it brings the layers together, and it can really make your compass part pop on your design. So it gives it texture as well.
Oh, Jane, that's so clever.
So yeah, the only thing I can tell you about free motion quilting is it's down to practice, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get with it, and the more you'll feel confident to do different shapes and different motions with it. And just get yourself some calico and some wadding. If you feel that you might be wasting it, why not try? Amanda Little, who does the Little Quilt House, she said to me when I was practicing with my long arm, she said, get yourself some soluble thread, make your sandwich and quilt with soluble thread. And then when you've done that practice, you just soak it, dissolve the thread, and then you've got the same sandwich that you can quilt on again and practice again. So it does make a lot of difference. You know, that's an economical way of practicing because you're just using the same quilt sandwich again.
Yeah. That's very good. That is a very top tip.
So we've got lots of patterns, haven't we, for our cushions finishing with flares, to finish your cushion, whether you want to bind it. Oh, we're in the wrong camera angle now.
I know, I'm trying to reload it again, Jane.
Trying to answer questions and reload cameras and all of that. Do it all.
Done. Which one do you want, overhead?
Yes, please.
Over the head. By the way, Jane has written a guide to quilting.
Yes, there's a guide to quilting. We've got all sorts of cushion finishing with flare, and there's several guides to binding as well, I think, isn't there?
There's all sorts.
We've got the flanged edged piping, the faux piped edged binding.
Yeah.
Words aren't working. Blah,
All
blah,
of
blah,
that.
blah, blah.
All of that.
And just ordinary binding, straightforward binding, all of that. So yeah, we've got lots that can help you finish your cushion covers or the edges of your quilt.
Yes.
There we go. Anybody got any questions before we go and say goodbye?
I don't.
Anybody out there? Is there anybody
Is there
there?
anybody out there?
Is
Hang
there
on.
anybody there?
I can't change the thingy and look at Facebook at the same time. So I'm just.
I can't do it all.
I need
oh
all
my
the
goodness me!
screens.
Why?
All the times.
I'm sure everybody's fine.
Oh yeah, Chris practiced using wadding scraps from quilts. Odd shapes though. It kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, any of your offcuts.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, you know, it can be your H640 or it could be your Styleville to practice on. It'll give a different feel, but it's good to have that different feel because you might want to do some quilting on your bags with your Styleville fix or your H640. So yeah, use those scraps to practice on as well.
Yeah,
because
perfect.
it all comes in handy.
Now I know Chris took a class with you at the Corner Patch.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still doing classes there?
I do, yeah. I do.
So
they're very small classes. There's only 6, and I think you'll find they're mostly booked up.
okay, there you go.
Can only get 6 people in at a time.
Ah, maybe we need to hire you a little hall near here.
Yeah, we could do that.
And do a bigger one.
Do a workshop day, yeah. Yes, because I think it's all very well watching me do it, but to do it yourself and have someone like me. I mean, there'll be lots of people. Your local quilt shop will have classes, and to have somebody with you to reassure you and just say, well, why not try this? Because we all do it slightly differently. We all hold our fabric differently. Some people like to wear gloves, some people don't. Some people like to have the feed dog strop, some people don't. You've got to try it all to find what works for you. You know, it's like anything we do, isn't it? We all do it slightly differently.
Leslie says, I'm sat watching whilst doing raw edge applique using Jane's free motion method. What's the best way to quilt something that already has lovely free motion stitching, please?
I would echo quilt it. So I would just follow the shapes that have already been quilted, free motions, you know?
Yeah.
So you're not disrupting your actual applique, but you're echoing it, so it just lifts that applique up.
There you go.
Follow the edges.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you very much. Jane, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Lovely show. Yeah. Thank you for a great demo, says Gabrielle. Another relaxing demo. Thank you, says Ginny. It was a fabulous class, Jane, and gave me the love of free motion. You're a great teacher. That's why we love Sod Jane.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there we go. And Colette would like to know what you think about stencils.
Yeah, they're great.
There you go.
They're great because they give you the pattern that you want.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of things that you can. There's so many stencils out there. You can get papers that you can have the pattern on that you stitch over the top and then you pull the paper away. All sorts of.
There's a lot out there.
There's lots, you know, and you've got your rulers as well, your quilting rulers that really help.
Yeah.
There's lots of things out there that will help you in your quilting journey.
Yeah, Gemma says, yeah, very much so, that if you've loved today, then you would really love Jane's Zooms that we do, the Quilting with Jane, because it's Jane on tap with questions.
Yeah.
But you don't have to leave your house.
No. And you can ask me anything. If I don't know, I don't know, and I'll tell you, I'll be honest.
And it's not too late to join. If you would like to join now, then you still can. It's $6.99 a month to have that. It's much cheaper than having to actually go to pay.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd pay for a day's workshop or a morning's workshop.
It can be something like £50-something.
Yeah, well, $6.99.
Yeah, it's cost of a pattern, isn't it?
At home, ask Jane anything you like, because you have that ability. Now, we have come under fire from some people for not keeping it free. Well, actually, all of these shows have massive costs to us.
I was going to say, it costs us money to do them, doesn't it?
It does, and actually, to have those smaller classes and the ability, we've had to buy extra software and in order to do them. So, do you know what? Yeah,
And I think with the Zoom, it's more intimate, and you've got that ability to ask the question there and then and get your answer.
Yeah.
Where with Facebook, when we're doing shows like this, we might miss your question because it was scrolled past.
So
Because we can't keep an eye on it at the same
That's
time.
why we do them, because we were asked.
Yeah.
We were asked for them. But I know that some people get a bit uppity. I've seen it. Some people getting a bit uppity.
And we try to give, when there's the Zoom classes are on, we try to give you a show so that you can watch something on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, we don't say, right, we're gone, we're not here.
But for the price of a pattern, you can join us live. And, you know, there's no
you're not contracted in for a year, are you?
No,
you
you can
sign
leave
up and
if you
it's
don't
each
like it,
month.
you
If you
don't
don't like it, you can leave.
Yeah.
And that's not meant in a rude way. That's just...
No.
Because circumstances change, don't they?
Of course they do. But for the price of a pattern, you get that workshop.
Yeah.
And you can watch that workshop anytime you
Yes, you've got
keep
it
that
again, haven't
subscription
you?
going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
You've
what
got
that is.
access to all the videos then when you're in the membership. But my membership is different from Natasha's.
Yeah.
So don't think if you're already signed up to Natasha, you'll get me as well. Sorry, no, why come at another price?
But we do like to think that we give value for money on these.
We do try. We try our best.
You know, so there we go. Have a look on the website if you would like to join. There's a whole membership area on there. There we go. Thank you, everybody. We will see you on Monday. Tomorrow we've got all of those half-meter heavens that we showed you earlier on. Friday, amongst other things, we've got those mini ironing boards as part of your Friday deals, and the last of the penguin fabric.
I can't believe that penguin fabric's... Well, I can actually because it's gorgeous. But it's gone very quickly.
It's gone very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. I know when it came in and I got a bit overexcited with the penguins. But actually, I put it with some flannel at Crancraft and it absolutely went bonkers.
Yeah, because it's a fabulous
So
deal.
for bibs and things like that, it's just brilliant. So I've got 6 bundles of penguins and that's it on Friday.
Fabulous.
Then that fabric's gone. In a bundle. So there we go. Amongst other things. So do take a look, because if you love glitter PU and you love a rainbow,
And
you're
who doesn't?
also going to love our Friday deals. So there we go. Thank you ever so much for watching, everybody, and we will see you. Lo wants to know, what do you do when you make a fabulous Tilda quilt top and ruined it with free motion? You unpick it, Lo. That's what you do.
Yeah, you unpick it and start again.
Yeah.
And practice on a scribble cloth first.
Yes. Yes. There you go. That's the one.
Get your husband to unpick it. They're usually good at unpicking.
Are they?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but they do. Because I think they're quite... They're like the... I think get somebody who hasn't quilted it to unpick it.
It's less emotional.
Well, that's it. They haven't got the emotional attachment and don't feel the despair of having to unpick it all.
Every unpick.
Yeah.
Having said that, I wouldn't give it to your granddaughter, Lo, to do.
Maybe not.
She might just chew it.
Yeah. Nobody under 8.
No. There you go.
Because you might end up with holes in it.
Yeah, all of that. Thank you ever so much, everybody. We will see you on Monday when we'll be making the... I can't even say it.
Etui, I know it as etui.
Etui.
Whether that's correct.
I don't know.
Claire Angelina will tell us. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you then. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.